Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Professor Dr. Rizwan Jamil Qureshi. I'm starting new course Software Engineering 2 and lecture number 1, chapter 11 from Somerville, 9th edition, and the title of the chapter is Security and Dependability. But before that, we need to talk about what are the quality attributes of a good software. We have different type of quality attributes. Any quality attribute? Mr. Khalid, Mr. Faisal, Mr. Abdullah, Mr. Hassan? No. Okay. Before you understand the term attribute, let me talk about object-oriented programming. That object is a combination of data and methods into a single entity that is uniquely identifiable. Everything of this world can be considered as an object. Maslan, for example, student, employee, human, furniture, vehicle, computer, projector. So what's data? Like you are a student, what is your data? Very good. So Mr. Faisal said his name, his ID, contact, father name, mother name, address, mobile number, and methods, actions and reactions performed by an object like eating, sleeping, running. So data is also called attributes and methods are also called functions. So that's generic attributes. Then we talk about quality attributes. Mikal defined quality attributes in 1975-76. Some of them I'm going to cover here with the dependability and security. Functionality is one of the quality attributes. What is functionality? What comes to your mind? Yes, Mr. Khalid, Mr. Abdullah, Mr. Hassan, Mr. Faisal? Okay. No. Functionality means software must function according to customer requirements. If it doesn't meet customer requirements, how good is that doesn't matter. Because customer is not happy, customer is not satisfied with respect to its functionality, what customer wants. For example, Linux, Unix, Mac are highly functional, but users love to use Windows. So that's user acceptance, usability, regardless of functionality. Even though Linux, Unix are very good, highly functional, and which is the most widely used server in the world? Linux. And client side, most widely used operating system is Windows. Approximately how many percentage of users are using Windows? Yes, Mr. Hussam, Mr. Khalid. Mr. Abdullah, approximately 90%. Mac 2 to 3%, Linux, Unix 2 to 3%, and rest of the operating system. So functionality means software must function according to customer requirements. Then we talk about usability. Usability means easy to use, like Windows, and that's the reason it is the most widely used client-side operating system. Even Mac was introduced in 1984 and Windows was introduced in 1990, almost after 6 years. But Mac cannot capture the market because of Apple policies, Steve Jobs policies, and because of those policies, Steve Jobs was fired from his own company, and then he opened some cinema company, and Apple purchased that company, and he was returned as chief executive with new ideas of iPad, iPod, iPhone, and so on. But anyhow, Windows captured the market because it was cheap and there was no restriction that you have to purchase Windows with Microsoft machine. But Apple has the problem that if you want to purchase Mac, you have to purchase Mac machine. Though those machines were very beautiful, transparent, green, pink, yellow, red, blue, but very expensive. So economically, the economics is also important. It should be economical. Software must be economical. It must be cheap, as it is one of the most important quality attributes. Even though it's functional, it is highly accepted by the user, but if it is expensive, then the rule of market is that you cannot capture all customers. The target market should be covered: rich customers, average income customers, and low income customers. This is the rule of business. Like Nokia was very successful at the beginning. Now Samsung has different models for rich customers, for average income customers, and low income customers. Then we have efficiency. How you define efficiency, Mr. Faisal? Yes, Mr. Khalid, Mr. Abdullah, Mr. Hassan? No? Okay. How fast, how quickly software responds to its users? For example, Maslan, Google is the most widely practiced search engine, and it is highly efficient, and its response is in millisecond. What's a millisecond, Mr. Abdullah, Mr. Hassan, Mr. Faisal, Mr. Khalid? 1/1000 of a second, 10 raised power minus 3 of a second. So less than 1 second. The Google response is in milliseconds. Then you have maintainability. How to define maintenance? Yes, Mr. Faisal, Mr. Khalid, Mr. Abdullah, Mr. Hassan? No? Maintenance has two functions. You have to fix the bugs and update or upgrade the system. So bug fixing, so maintenance is a process to fix the bugs and update or upgrade the system. What is bug? We have different terminologies: bug, errors, defects, fault. So what is the difference between them, or they all are same? Bug is a generic terminology. All errors in the software are called bugs. When maintenance start, is it started before deployment or after deployment? Yeah, Mr. Faisal, what is the meaning of deployment? Deployment means shipment, delivery, installation, they all are the same. Yes, Mr. Abdullah, Mr. Khalid, Mr. Hussam. Maintenance starts when programmer writes first line of code. So when you write a code, one line you have to test it, you maintain it, and then you write the second line. You write one function, you test it, you fix it, and then you write the second function. One module, you test it, you fix it, you maintain it, and then you write the second module. So it's a continuous process. Code, test, maintain. Code, test, maintain. So it started before the deployment, when programmers start writing the code, or programmers started writing the code. How many types of maintenance we have? Update or upgrade. What is the difference? Yeah, Mr. Faisal. Yes, Mr. Khalid, Mr. Abdullah, Mr. Hussam. Update means you add new features in the same software. Like you see Microsoft updates, iPhone updates, Adobe updates, Chrome updates. Upgrade means change the software from old version to a new version, like Windows 7 to Windows 10, or King Abdul Aziz University was using ODUS registration system when I joined King Abdul Aziz University, Saudi Arabia in 2011. But after a few years, King Abdul Aziz University, KAU, replaced the old system with the new system, and it is ODUS++. So that's upgrade. So that is the difference between update and upgrade. Upgrade means change in the features of same software, or add new features in the same software. And upgrade means replace the old version with the new version. Like I gave you example of Windows. So Windows has Journey 3.1 and Windows 95, 98. It's all upgrades. How many types of maintenance we have? That's next question before we talk about maintainability. Yes, Mr. Faisal, Mr. Khalid, Mr. Abdullah, Mr. Hussam. There are 4 types of maintenance. Corrective, adaptive, perfective, and preventive. What is corrective? Like we talk about maintainability or maintenance is a process to fix the bugs and update or upgrade. Yes, I was talking about, bug, errors, defects, fault. So errors is before deployment. The bugs reported are called errors. Whereas bugs reported by the customer are called defects. So when you ask the customer to test a software, he will submit you a defect report. I remember one of Hakuma company in Pakistan. Its name is Punjab IT Board. One of my students, his name is Irfan. Now he's working in Spain as a project manager. He told me that because of Vasta reference, Hakuma, Punjab IT board won a project from one of the commercial company, and they asked the customer to test it. After completing the software, 500 pages of defect report submitted. 500 pages of defect report was submitted with cancellation of project. Sorry, we don't want to continue. Then I asked him why. He said, because we know salary will come from Hakuma, so nobody takes care. And we keep on playing network games, chatting, tea, coffee, cigarette break, and so on. Nobody is serious in work, and it's playtime, reading newspapers, talk about politics, weather, fun, and so on. But anyhow, it was just an example. Private companies cannot afford to have more defects. So we have to fix the bugs, maximum number of bugs before delivery to the customer. Otherwise, customer can cancel the project. So that's corrective. When there is a bug, you fix it. And fault. Fault is the error that causes the system to fail, crash. So faulty code will not work. We have fatal errors and we have non-fatal errors. Fatal errors are the errors that cause the system to crash, and you have to reinstall the software or you have to run it again, launch it again. So non-fatal, you receive a message like exception, you click it and keep on running. Like Microsoft used to do that. When there are bugs reported, Microsoft introduced patch, and it becomes an exception, and user just click the exception message and continue. There was a bug in Microsoft Windows 95, and it was reported in 2014. A 95 bug was reported in 2014 by IBM. And Microsoft, as usual, did not take it seriously. They just fixed the bug. They did not fix the bug. They just introduced a patch, exception, and continue. Like puncture, tire puncture. You go to the puncture shop, you put some super glue or something, fill air, and thank you very much. The same Microsoft is doing, because Microsoft knows it's not its strength. Its strength is usability. So they keep on focusing on usability. Here I remember a story of a rabbit by one of the top guys of Wipro, the ex-chairman, Premji. Premji is now a motivational speaker. He is no more chairman. So during his motivational speech, he said there was a rabbit and he was very good in running. So in the school, there was competition, sports week, and he won the first prize in jumping, in race, because rabbits are very good in jump and race. His parents were not happy because he failed in swimming. So they cursed him and said to him, forget about jumping and running. Now you start taking swimming classes for the next year competition. Ultimately, after 1 year, rabbit failed in race and jumping and also failed in swimming, because rabbits are not good swimmers. It's not their strength. So as a human being, as a student, you must know your strength You must know your weaknesses. As a company, you must know your strength. You must know your weaknesses. So focus on those areas in which you are good rather than focusing on those areas in which you are weak. So Microsoft as a company knows it is their weakness to talk about, to waste time on bug fixing and all that. So they just focus on usability, to keep on improving the usability. So that's the corrective maintenance. You have bug, you fix. Then next type is adaptive maintenance. We have two words, adapt and adopt. Anjali Mushkil, what is the difference between them? Yes, Mr. Faisal, Mr. Khalid, Mr. Abdullah, Mr. Hassan? No? Okay. Some couples don't have babies, no children. So those couples adopt baby from their relatives or some orphan children whose parents are died during some accident or due to some reason, or some poor or needy children whose parents cannot afford their education, their food. So those couples who can afford, they adopt them. It's adopt. Or King Abdulaziz University, before starting the Abbott in FCIT, in our department, Faculty of Computing, engineering department achieved Abbott first. So we as FCIT, Faculty of Computing and Information Technology, we asked engineering department to give us guidelines and the procedures they follow. So we adopted their procedures to start Abbott or ISO, CMM and so on, the quality standards. You adopt the procedures of ISO or SASO and CMM. And adapt means change according to situation or environment. For example, in summer, Saudi Arabia is very hot. Like in Jeddah, sometimes temperature is 48 degrees centigrade, 50 degrees centigrade or plus. And in Siberia, there are some areas where you have a temperature of minus 56 throughout the year. So if a Siberian guy will visit Jeddah in summer, he will die, because here 50 plus 50, there minus 56. If he will not adapt, or vice versa, Jeddah guy will visit Siberia. If that guy will not adapt, he will die. So change according to situation. So what's adaptive maintenance? Software can run on multiple platforms. Like you develop a software for Windows, and suddenly, because of some of customer's friend or well-wisher ask him, why you are paying licensing cost to Windows? Why not you switch to Linux, Unix? It's free. A small request comes from the customer to software company. Can you please change my software to run from Windows to Linux? It's like killing to software company, because you don't need to change any functionality. You don't need to fix any bug. You have to change your software from Windows to Linux or Unix or Mac, Sun Solaris, or web server like Microsoft Internet Information Server. You develop software for IaaS, and customer asks you to switch to Apache or WAMP server. So change from operating system to server or browser like Chrome or Mozilla Firefox or Microsoft Edge is there. or hard Java is there. So software can run on multiple platforms, hardware, software. So such changes that you made in software to run it on multiple platform, make it platform independent is called adaptive maintenance. How we will do that, we will discuss inshallah in the next lecture. Any question about today's lecture? Thank you very much. Jazakallah khair. May Allah bless you. Assalamu alaikum. Have a nice day.